President Trump has spoken to Sky News about the King and Queen's state visit. The royal couple were given a final farewell from the President and his wife at the White House, bringing an end to what has generally been considered a successful four-day visit. Our royal correspondent Laura Bundock is in Virginia, where earlier today the King and Queen paid their respects at the Arlington National Ceremony. And we will speak to her in just a moment. But first to Mark Stone, who has been speaking to the President. And, well, Mark, he's becoming your new kind of best mate. Is this three calls in as many weeks? Or three calls in 2 weeks?
Maybe, yes. Look, I mean, it's worth pointing out that he picks up the phone and he does it quite regularly with reporters in the United States and increasingly beyond as well. That is his nature. And so we thought it would be a good idea to get his sense of how this state visit has gone. And so just after he bid farewell to the King and the Queen at the South Portico, I spoke to him. And look, I mean, as he has said publicly and as his face demonstrates, he loves the royal family and he loved this trip. He clearly thinks that every part of it went very, very well. Indeed, these are the images of the farewell which took place on the South Lawn an hour or two ago. I asked him about the trip itself, the visit itself. He said the King's just left. He's a fantastic guy. And he heaped praise on the Queen as well. And I asked him about the speech to Congress. He said, I thought it was fantastic. It was a brilliant speech. It was delivered beautifully with that beautiful accent that he's got. And everyone, he said, from everyone there was a standing ovation. I thought it was fantastic in all respects. I pushed the President on the slightly pointed nature of this speech. I mean, it was a very carefully crafted speech. It was, in a sense, a masterclass of diplomacy, because within it, the subtext was very much, well, some of it was pretty critical of Trump. I'm not sure whether he chose to ignore that because he likes the King so much, or whether he didn't recognise it. But in response to my question, that there was an emphasis on this speech on alliances, on partnerships, on the importance of America remaining at the heart of NATO, the President simply said, that's the King, is a much different person than your Prime Minister. Your Prime Minister has to learn how to deal the way he deals, and he'll do a lot better. And he said, I said, do you think this visit will improve your relationship with Keir Starmer? He said, I can tell you one thing. Our relationship is very good, but you know that's another individual. We will find out. But I like Keir Starmer very much. I think he's made a tragic mistake on immigration and a tragic mistake on energy. So continuing with that criticism of the government, alongside, in parallel, the praise for the King and Queen. And one more bit of breaking news, Mark, that we can reveal. Remember that bell that the King gave to the President at the state dinner on Tuesday night? A remarkable gift, seen as another masterstroke of diplomacy, a bell from a World War II submarine, British naval submarine, that was called HMS Trump. Well, that bell was handed to the President on Tuesday evening, and I asked the President what he thought of it. He said how fantastic it was, how amazing that a submarine could be named Trump. I said, where are you going to put it? And he said, it's going to go in the Oval Office. I could hear him then saying to aides, we need to go and get it. Somebody said, yes, sir. I said, where are you going to put it? He said, it's going to go next to the bust of Winston Churchill in the Oval Office.
Yeah, and it's interesting, PA were reporting just a little earlier, Mark, that as he waved off the royal couple at the White House, he said, they're great people. We need more people like this in this country. So there's clearly, as you described there, this kind of affection that Trump has for royals and particularly for Charles, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, a huge affection, but at the same time, he sees a clear distinction between the royals and the government. And also, and I felt this in so many of his words over the course of this week, of the President's words, he feels almost, he feels kind of half British. His Scottish ties are so tight. and his affiliation and his affection for the royal family is what it is, that I think he feels, and I got this when I spoke to him last week as well, and he was critical of Starmer then. He feels almost that he has a right to criticise Britain because of his own family ties to the UK, and so he feels that he does have a right to be able to criticise Britain on immigration, on energy policies, because he feels that he's kind of half British in a sense.